Okay, wow.
You can laugh all you want, but you know what? You are very entitled. Little spoiled brat is what you are.
You're a
Whoa, well that escalated fast, didn't it? I really don't think that Kim knows how to argue with someone without taking it too far, and that might just cost her marriage. But before we dive into that, first, she's got to fight a 65-year-old lady.
Come to Jaipur. I'd love to meet you.
Come on, baby. I'll give you my address.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Who'd win in a fight between these two? I mean, Jenny has the experience and the height advantage, but there's something about Kim that has this wild animal trapped inside her. My money would probably be on her. But before we get to this fight, let's go back to the beginning. So we left Kim and TJ in the midst of the biggest argument they'd ever had. It was an argument that seemed to bring out Kim's possessed demonic spirit. She let out the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard. And when we join them today at the tell-all, the question on everyone's lips is, are they still together? Well, it looks like it.
Living with TJ's family is just as you would expect. I don't think that they care to understand my perspective.
It's immediately apparent that things haven't improved between Kim and TJ's family. Now, when we last saw them, the source of their issues seemed to stem from miscommunication and a language barrier. But Kim's behaviour since arriving in India hasn't exactly been great. And she's well aware that at this tell-all, she's going to get judged for the way she's acted. But she does at least have one fellow cast member on her side.
I can understand why Kimberly was upset in India. I feel like TJ's just expecting her to live like a servant, and that's not how she wants to live. She's clearly an independent woman.
You know you f***ed up if Danielle's the only one supporting you. I think Danielle sees a lot of herself in Kim, which kind of says a lot. But the truth is, they do have a lot in common. They both have loud personalities. They both have a temper. And their spirituality forms a very large part of their personal identity. But while Kim is left fighting what seems to be everyone in her life, surprisingly, for now at least, her and TJ seem completely fine.
Hi, TJ.
TJ, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for all this stuff.
Good.
They're excited for the tell-all, and they both seem really happy to see each other. And as Sean sits down and begins to focus on Kim and TJ, the first issue she brings up is Kim's first reaction to the apartment that TJ built for her.
I'm leaving everything behind to be with you, and you can't follow through on this one thing for me.
I'm not your servant, for your kind info.
No, you're supposed to be my partner, and you're failing at it.
Now, considering that TJ took out this 7-year loan to finance the apartment, is there anybody here who feels that Kimberly wasn't being appreciative of what he did?
This is now an open forum, and all the other cast members have an opinion. And to be completely honest, it is nice to see Kim have to face up to her own behaviour. Like, the problem Kim has, and it's evident in this argument, is often she's not wrong in her arguments. She has valid points, but where she falls short is she just doesn't seem to have the ability to discuss things normally without losing all control.
I don't think she was giving him enough credit for the effort that he put into it.
It's the way she said it.
Yeah, the delivery was off. Sorry.
That's fine.
Look at how happy TJ is here, seeing everyone else call Kim out. It must feel really good for him to be validated like this. But, just playing devil's advocate here, the bathroom didn't have a door and there were no windows. So Kim did have a point, but she just massively overreacted. Had she kept her cool, I think she would have had a lot more sympathy here. But, as of today, even though she still lives there, there are still a lot of issues with the apartment. Some of which, it turns out, Kim doesn't actually know about. Take, for example, the debt. The loan that TJ took out to pay for everything.
No, he never discussed having a loan with me.
Okay.
I'd be more concerned about that.
What did you think when you found out?
I thought that I should have been informed about that.
Should TJ have been far more open and transparent about the $12,000 7-year loan? Well, yes, there's no real reason for him to have hidden that from her, but it raises a couple of interesting points. He has this habit of hiding things, and much of that seems very closely linked to what he thinks makes up a good marriage. Like, based on their previous fights, it seems like they've taken on traditional gender roles. A role where the woman stays at home and looks after the household, and the man goes out, earns the money, and looks after the finances.
What's the duty of the wife? Just yelling on me and telling me what to do?
The duty was to make sure everything in the house is running together.
Okay,
and
I'm
I
earning as
have
well.
been.
I'm earning.
Yeah, so that being the case, the real question here is why have they still not sat down and discussed what each of their roles and responsibilities are within this marriage? Why hasn't Kim sat down and questioned TJ, asked to know the truth?
I didn't know about the amount. I didn't know that it was a loan.
Did you ask these questions?
No.
So she didn't ask.
Sorry, Kim, but you can't really play the victim card here. Like, she says she should have been told, but at the same time, she never bothered to ask where her husband was getting the money to build an entire apartment for her. So, for now, the amount of grilling that Kim is getting from the other cast members is about right. But brace yourselves, because when Jenny and Sumit get introduced to share their opinions, everything suddenly goes crazy.
Kimberly, to me, seemed very unappreciative of everything. What she got was amazing to me, and she appreciated nothing.
Oh boy, Jenny has just come in hot. She's come in all guns blazing. But I think it's important to set some context here. These two ladies don't like each other, and this feud actually developed on social media. You see, it was Kimberly that threw the first punch. She was the one that said Sumit and Jenny's relationship was fake. That despite the fact they'd never even met before.
Have I met Jenny and Sumit before? No, they don't interest me. They're fake.
So now, Jenny is keen to have her say. Now, keep in mind that when Jenny says Kimberly is unappreciative, I think she's equating that back to her own experience in India. We all know that Sumit's family don't accept Jenny. That's a stark contrast to Kim's experience. TJ's family, at least initially, welcomed her in with open arms. They threw a massive wedding for her, compared to Jenny's secret wedding. So I think there might be a bit of envy or jealousy from Jenny here. Jenny wishes that she had what Kimberly got, but what Jenny fails to mention here is that Kim did also have her own struggles with TJ's family. It wasn't a walk in the park, and Jenny ignoring those struggles has really pissed her off.
Your opinion doesn't matter to me, Jenny.
Well, your opinion doesn't matter to me either. First of all, respect India. Respect India or don't be here.
I don't want to, darling.
Kim is feeling attacked, and her immaturity is showing, but so is Jenny's. There's no doubt that Kimberly has a lot of issues to work through, but isn't it ironic that Jenny's apparently dubbed herself the Queen of India? She somehow feels like she has the right to tell people whether they should stay or go, all while both Indian husbands sit there quietly. And now things are about to get very personal.
Okay, wow.
You can laugh all you want, but you know what? You are very entitled. Little spoiled brat is what you are.
You're a
No, Kim, what are you doing? Rein it in. Yet again, she's letting her temper get the best of her. It's like she can't control her words when she gets angry. It's like she gets possessed by some kind of evil demonic spirit. Now, did Kimberly ramp up the dial to 100 for no reason? Yes, absolutely. But did Jenny also come looking for a fight? Did she come with an axe to grind? Yes, I think that was clear from the start. But now it's gone too far, and neither lady is willing to let it go.
Come to Jaipur. I'd love to meet you.
Come on, baby. I'll give you my address.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What the heck has this turned into? Are we watching an episode of Dr. Phil or something? Now, it falls to Armando to interrupt this insanity and tell Kimberly that she's being disrespectful. But here's where I have an issue. Look, up until this point, Kimberly's had the whole cast and now Jenny and Sumit ganging up on her. But not one single person has yet brought up the toxic behaviour that TJ has also shown. Why isn't he also being held to account? Well, if there is one saving grace for Kim, it's that her only ally, Danielle, is willing to defend her.
I think it's a defense mechanism. Because that response felt like not warranted by...
That's what part of your problem is, like with him, is because you elevate it. You don't try to bring it down, you keep bringing it up.
This is actually really insightful from Kenny, and it's something that Kim should try to keep in mind for future arguments. But Kim's problem is that she's on the defence right now, and she's far too proud to take any criticism. She's unapologetic about all of her behaviour, and it's coming across like stubbornness and a really, really bad attitude.
She's not sorry.
I'm not sorry. No.
Kimberly, do you feel that you have been disrespectful to the Indian culture?
No, I do not.
Okay, now put aside the cow dung and cow urine scenario, because I think many of us would have reacted the same way there. But that issue aside, I think Kimberly has been disrespectful. Like, even before arriving in India, she was talking about how much she disliked the country, how she doesn't really want to live there. And that only got worse when she arrived, when she was physically in India screaming, "I hate India."
I hate India. I don't want to be here.
So yeah, I think there is some disrespect there. But talking of screaming, Sean now wants to bring up that scream.
You have all right to separate with me also.
I don't want to separate from you!
Because I'm a...
No, I said I don't!
You said...
Anger management.
Oh my God.
The way that she comes at him and the way she speaks to him is with 100% disrespect.
There's no doubt, I think we all agree that that screaming was out of line. But that fight stemmed from TJ's lack of empathy. She was screaming in pain because her husband seemed like he couldn't care less about her. He seemed like he wanted the marriage over. He looked like he couldn't care less about her mental health. So why is no one talking about TJ? He also needs to be held accountable for his part in this. But sadly, it seems like everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. It's a lot easier and a lot more fun to gang up on Kim.
Kimberly, everything was handed to her on a silver platter. Me, I had to fight for all of it. I was respectful to his parents the whole way through.
Oh, give it a rest, Jenny. Come on, pipe down. I mean, how respectful were you being, Jenny, when you lived in Sumit's parents' house while conducting a secret relationship with their son who's 30 years your junior? Jenny needs to take a step back. She needs to remember that she too isn't perfect. Now, it's at this point that Sean finally tries to steer this conversation about disrespect back to the facts. Facts like Kimberly calling TJ a titty baby.
Had you ever called him that before?
Am I allowed? Should I say it, baby?
Yeah.
Say it, yeah.
I told him that he needed to get off his mom's teeth.
Look, I'm definitely not Kimberly's biggest fan, so I'm actually surprised by how much I've been on her side in this episode. But here I go again. Now, that term, titty baby, is hilarious. Now, I appreciate that she turned and checked with TJ to make sure he was comfortable with her saying what she said. That actually demonstrates a level of respect. But as for the phrase itself, or more accurately, as for what's meant by the phrase, well, she's not wrong, is she?
Just like whenever we get into an argument, he would go downstairs and stay downstairs for days.
For days?
For days.
Days.
For days.
And not talk to me.
What?
Kim then goes on to say that the longest that TJ has disappeared on her was for almost 72 hours. I mean, it must be really hard to build a healthy communicative marriage when your husband runs downstairs to his mummy to bitch about you every time you argue. But guess what? The cast all still blame Kim.
She brought her American attitude with her to India. You can't do that.
So right now, if I could do it over again, I would do things differently.
There you go.
There you go. There's the remorse that everyone's been waiting for. But even after she says it, Kimberly backtracks. She says she's learnt a lot by making those mistakes, implying that she doesn't really regret it because of the lessons they taught her. And that lack of respect seems to grind everyone's gears, to the point where during their lunch break, Kenny feels the need to bring it up again.
What you called Jenny, do you regret that?
No.
You should. That was really harsh.
Hopefully hearing this from someone as level-headed as Kenny might get through to Kim, because that was out of line. And while she does seem to be listening to him somewhat, Kim defends herself by saying her remorse over her actions is apparently a process. But that doesn't really cut it. Kenny doesn't want to hear her excuses.
I think it's a little bit of a cop-out. You have to be humbled and say, oh, I really did F up.
Yeah, just a little more humility would go so far.
Kim really needs to stop pretending that she's the victim all the time. She needs to take control of her own actions. But I'm going to repeat it for the last time. What about TJ? Who's calling TJ out for how much he lies? No one, it seems. And now, with Kim and TJ done for the day, we get to say goodbye to the real stars of the show, Jenny and Sumit, and they leave with some parting advice.
Any final words on how to make a marriage work between an American and an Indian?
You need to lose that attitude a little bit. It's really out of control.
Yeah, this feud isn't about to die down anytime soon. But for as entertaining as it was, I can't help but feel a little disappointed with this tell-all. So many questions are still up in the air, left totally unanswered.